say,
Like
the
Donnie
leaders say
Sanders.
that they shifted here as they want the seat of power
Ryan
to know what's
Coe.
going on, and they don't want to be
Cameron
confined in by the
Lamb.
police down on the plaza or anything like that.
We demand
So they came into
actual
City Hall
change in our
today for a
community
2-hour
through
rally.
policy.
There may be
So let's
a
be
little
clear about our
march,
demands.
a very little one, from here, the City Hall steps,
We demand
to
local control of the
police
KCPD.
department headquarters, which is just over a half block from where I'm standing right now. In fact, our officers of National Guard watching that. You may have been able to hear
Approximately 70% of the city's
speaker here
operating budget
talk
is
about
allocated to public
for
safety
local
with
control
over
of the police department, which is
$250
one of the
million
primary
dedicated to
demands
the
of
police
this.
department.
So
Yes,
about 200
the
here
city
for
of
this rally,
KCMO
which will
has
probably
no
have a
authority
short march over to the police
KCPD's
station, perhaps,
decisions,
and Mayor
policies,
Quinton Lucas may be
practices,
down
and
here at some
procedures.
point. Let's go back to you.
Number two.
All right, Michael, thanks so much. And yeah, we do have the mayor scheduled to speak. We have Congresswoman Sharice Davids scheduled to speak as we are underway with a Black Lives Matter protest, which is what you're seeing right now on the south steps of a city hall. Let's listen in.
We demand the proposed funding for body cams, generously provided by the DeBruce Foundation and community partners, but put to use immediately to equip every officer in KCPD with a body camera. We demand a restrictive policy governing the use of force, including a multi-step de-escalation procedure. With respect to the protests beginning on May 29, 2020, following the murder of George Floyd, we demand that all pending legal charges, civil or criminal, levied against peaceful protesters by the KCPD be dismissed, effective immediately. All protesters. We demand that the KCPD demilitarize, because frankly, I don't know why there's tear gas being deployed on Kansas Cityans when even the Geneva Convention bans that end warfare. We demand that KCMO engage with community representatives, including activists, members of advocacy groups, and the leadership of local nonprofit organizations. Because frankly, that Unity March, I didn't get a contact. Henry, did you get a contact? They're not engaging. We demand that KCMO develop a comprehensive plan for the reduction of the KCPD budget with the intention of reallocating their funding towards supporting community organizations that are directly engaged in work of addressing the underlying socioeconomic conditions that we see in our community. We have heard we have heard some of what I've said, and we know that there's more to do, but this isn't enough. None of this is enough. We agree with you, and we want you to know that this is not the end of our demands. It's the beginning. This is a beginning of a movement. Hear me loud and clear, everyone. If they give us an inch, we take a mile. We need time to sit with more leaders. We need time to put together more comprehensive and detailed plans. But keep in mind as well, my bad. Thank you, medics. Thank you. Can we have a round of applause for the people that are here to take care of us and our medics? But keep in mind, we can't legislate a solution to all of our problems. We need to come together as a community and organize democratically to address disparities in these underlying conditions in housing, education, poverty and economic mobility, food insecurity, healthcare outcomes, internet access, and so many more. Kansas City, now it's time for us to stand together, shoulder to shoulder, arm in arm, and demand that our city do better for everyone. Everyone. All right, I'm going to pass the mic off to Jessica. I want to thank my Latinx community that came out. I mean, this is strong. Our fight is your fight, and your fight is our fight. It's Jessica and Sharice Davis. Can you give me the mic after a moment?
Tu lucha. Tu lucha. Tu lucha. Tu lucha.
This is another one of
Kansas
the
City,
overall protest
it is a
organizers.
pleasure to represent today Voz KC, VOZ, which is translated in English to voice, voices. Voz KC is here today. We're gathered. Behind me are my colleagues, my comrades. Let's give a round of applause to these beautiful, beautiful, beautiful revolutionaries that decided today, within 72 hours, that it was important for the indigenous, for the Latinx, for the Latino community to be present in solidarity with our Black relatives. But guess what? Today is not about us. Today is not about indigenous lives. Today is not about brown lives. Today is not about Latinx lives. Today, it's about Black lives. Now, my brown hermanos and hermanas, we know what it's like to struggle. We know what it's like to be policed. We know what it's like to be pushed back into the shadows. We know what it's like to be an essential worker. We know what it's like to keep America living. But today isn't about us. Today, we come together as one pueblo. Today, we come together as una raza so that we can stand in solidarity with our Black relatives, because Black lives matter. No life matters until Black lives matter. And on behalf of Voz KC and on behalf of Latinx across this globe, we want to thank the Black community for standing with us through what we have been struggling with. We want to thank you for being at the detention centers with us. We want to thank you for calling on ICE to be dismantled. But today is not about us. Today, we stand in solidarity with our Black brothers and sisters, our relatives. We demand local control of the Kansas City Police Department. We demand a community review board. We demand the proposed funding for body cameras. We demand a restrictive policy governing the use of force. We demand that the KCPD dismilitarize now. Now more than ever, it is important for us to stand in solidarity with each other. Porque la lucha sigue. Now more than ever, hermanos, it is time for us to talk to our tíos. It is time to talk to our tías. It is time to talk to our abuelos. It is time to talk to our neighbors. It is time to talk to Kansas City brown lives and to tell them we come together. We stand together. Today we end the anti-blackness in our community. Today we end it. Today we end it because tu lucha, tu lucha, tu lucha, because no life matters until all of Black lives matter.
Let's give it up for Jessica again. I know you guys give her some more energy than that. Let's give it up for her. I know she's on the Kansas side, but I'm deeply humbled and honored to introduce our next speaker. Not only one of the first Native American congresswomen elected to Congress, but also, yeah, give it up for her. I want to introduce the Congresswoman of Kansas, Sharice Davids.
Thank you. Hold on. Don't cheer yet. Black Lives Matter. First, I want to start off by acknowledging that today is Breonna Taylor's birthday. She would have been 27. And say her name, Breonna Taylor. I think that it's important to recognize that we have lost too many folks in the Black community because of injustice and violence and racism. And I want to say thank you to Justice for inviting me today because it's important to recognize that I don't speak for any particular community, and that my role as a congressperson is to listen, as an elected official is to listen, and I share the heartbreak and outrage over the killing of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and the countless other folks Black people who have been killed and murdered. And I think that right now, the pain and anger that we're seeing it's right and it's just, and that we need to listen. Non-Black people need to listen. Elected people need to listen. We're seeing a justifiable reaction to the failure of our country to reckon with our history, with the reforms that have failed time and time again to happen, the injustice that we see in the criminal injustice system. These are the things that we need to deal with as a society and a community. And right now, we're experiencing a collective trauma. But right now, the important piece is that we listen and work with Black folks to heal from the trauma that has been inflicted because of that long history in this country. I'm proud to stand here in solidarity with the Black community. To say that Black Lives Matter, to say that the policy ideas that we already heard today and the calls for change need to be heard. I'm listening, I hear you, I certainly see you, and I see all of you. And I think that the wounds that we need to begin to address in this country are starting now to heal, but it's hard. And if you're not listening to the Black folks around you, you need to start. And I'm going to keep listening, and I'll keep showing up. And thank you for inviting me, because this is not any member of Congress's time to shine. This is the time to shine the light on the injustice that we've seen for too long in this country.
All right, thank you, everyone. I now want to introduce our next speaker, Councilperson Brandon Ellington.
Thank you. He gave me permission, he gave me freedom to go in, and I plan on doing it. But before I say anything, I'm gonna say all praise and honor and glory be to God. So whatever comes out of my mouth is not my fault. It's a couple things I want to talk to you about, though, and all of these is from the bottom of my heart, 100% sincere. Y'all need to start checking people's resumes. Y'all, nah, I don't think y'all hearing me. Y'all need to check people's resumes. Y'all gonna have a lot of people coming before y'all talking, a lot of people saying that they're listening, a lot of people saying that they're caring. It is the same with some that's protesting. Some that's protesting don't actually care about the struggle, but the struggle is real. And y'all need to start checking people's resumes, especially those that are in office. Everybody that's in office has a record. This is my second go around. I was at the state 8.5 years. I'm down here for 6 months. I'm not gonna go through the legislation that I did, but at the state, most of my legislation was about police reforms. When I came here to the council, I filed 3 or 4 police reform bills. No support, right? Check people's resumes. Same when we talk about prosecutor powers and those that are arresting people and not. Ryan Stokes, that murder didn't just happen. That was in 2013. The officer that shot him, he's still at the police force. The officer that was arresting him, he's no longer at the police force. Start checking people's resumes, man. When we talk about police brutality, when we talk about injustice, when we talk about things that we've been talking about for over 45 years, that's a problem. Emmett Till was the first cat to get drugged through the streets, and we still been murdered on TV. And I appreciate the demands, but even with the demands, we have to make sure that we're moving in appropriate fashion. Because when we talk about local control, that doesn't take a whole bunch. It takes an initiative petition to get it on the ballot to vote for it in Kansas City. Not that hard, not that complicated. When we talk about video and audio equipment, we need to be checking who's going to hold that, because currently without local governance, that would still fall up underneath PD, right? So when we talk about these things, make sure that we're moving in the right fashion. Let's make sure that we're using this energy righteously, and don't let people leech off your energy, right? I'm 38 years old. I grew off 40th and Prospect. I ran for office not because I thought I was smarter than anybody, not because I thought I was better than anybody. I ran for office because I was tired of watching the police go in people's pockets, take their dope money and let them stay out there, meaning that the activity wasn't illegal. Since I've been in office, I fought marginalization. Now I want to talk about the Black and Brown Coalition, because again, we've been faking with each other. We the only people, not the only, but we the only, majority only ones here that got melanation in our skin. Melanation is factual. Melanation is not an opinion. Melanation is something that is synonymous to all of us, yet we don't link up and we suffer the same suffrage. We all live in inner cities of poverty, west side, east side, horrible, right? But it's more of us than the so-called majority. If we stop buying into colonization and we just observe, we just look, because if you look at each other, we have melanation. So there's no reason that we're separated. There's no reason that collectively we're the weakest politically. But if we look at our numbers, we're the largest collectively. It doesn't make any sense that if you look at the state numbers, we're the majority that gets pulled over, Black and brown. But our hit ratio, the amount of dope, drugs, and illegal activity is less than white folks, right? So when we look at the criminal justice arena, it's an institution. And institutions build a system. Systems is not independent outside of the institution. And institutions are powered by the people that support those institutions. So let's start mandating what we want via the right institutions and stop allowing people to come and say, I feel your pain, but don't show up when you're struggling. Stop allowing people to say, I care about you, but when I see you hurting, I don't extend my hand. Stop allowing people to say, hey, all those murders is bad today, but I ain't do nothing about it yesterday, the day before, or the day before that when I had access to do it. And I'm only doing it now because I want to look politically correct. Again, check people's resumes, bro. And the last thing that I want to say is something that's coming up this Tuesday, and I desperately need y'all help. I have an ordinance that will be heard at 10 a.m. in legal review, 26th floor, and it gets rid of the charges for those that were protesting that wasn't doing anything illegal. I try to pass it Thursday. If y'all don't come out, it's not gonna get passed. So I need y'all here at 10 a.m. and I'm gonna tell y'all one more that I'm gonna bring back. At the beginning of my council term, I had a consent form. If that consent form had passed, everybody that was at that protest would have had probable cause for getting accosted. But it didn't pass because PD told the council they was gonna sue us, and we folded. That's problematic, because it's problematic because we're talking about the will of the people, and again, that's an institution. And institutions is powered by the people that pay them. So if we want change, show up Tuesday, and then show up every day after that. Start paying attention to who's at the stake, because no state laws have been adjusted. Start paying attention, who is your prosecutor, and why aren't violent acts being prosecuted when law enforcement is doing things that is known? The officers that accosted that transgender woman was beating that gentleman named Troy Robinson for 5 years. All of us on camera. Troy Robinson came down here to the police meeting and has been talking, and he's still been getting beat up. Look him up. He's the gentleman that stands out on 35th and Prospect with the honk sign. Those officers wasn't new to police brutality. They was just new to getting caught on camera. And then something finally got done. And again, the last thing I like to say is Ryan Stokes. Shot in the back. Officer that was arresting him said, hey, I recanted. Officer that shot him is still here. Where we at for that? Where we at for Lamb? Where we at for the all the murders that didn't happen here with no repercussions? So again, show up Tuesday if y'all can, man. I appreciate y'all. 10 a.m. legal review. I need as many people as we can to get that ordinance passed. Real talk.
So, thank you, Councilperson Ellington. Y'all give him some love. Give him some love. So I think I'll introduce our next speaker, but I do want to bring to people's attention that we have medics on staff just in case. And I want to thank whoever that is back there in front of City Hall. Everyone here needs to register to vote. Everyone here needs to be voting. Everyone here needs to make sure they're voting for who they want. All right, now I want to introduce Henry Service, and he's our next speaker. He'll rile you up.
Hello. Hey. When me and Justice and our group came together to get these protests together, we almost halfway were worried about what we would get accomplished here today. But 4 days later, like I was saying earlier on, with over 60,000 signatures to our petition, and what we have is body cams where they were telling us before there was no money and it couldn't be done. We got that. So give yourself a round of applause because we got that. We from the very beginning were unashamedly inclusive. We said, this is about Black Lives Mattering, and we need everybody here to help us. Because if you think Black Lives Matter, then it doesn't matter what color you are. This is not black people against white people or black people against any other race. This is people against racism and injustice. Now I want you to look around and see all of the friends that we have here. I want you to look around and see all of our friends that we have, and I want you to stand a little close. I know you're hot and sweaty. Get a little close together, and I want you to say after me, I want you to say, May the line never break where I stand. 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 All right, power to the people. I want your fists in the air. I want you to say, power to the people. Everybody fists in your air. Power to all people. Power to the 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 people. You know why I say power to the people? Because we're stronger together. We are stronger together. When we come, Henry by himself, I can't get anything accomplished. But when we stand together, we can make demands, and then 4 days later, we get something we were asking for years, and we weren't getting. We're stronger together. Stronger together. When we stand together and we demand change, and when we demand and don't ask, there's no polite statements add, there's no tea and crumpets, there's just us demanding, we get what we want. These are our streets. This is our city. This is our government. This is our police force. They work for us. We don't work for them. I'm with them. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose police force? Whose government? We are stronger together because there's more of us than there is of them. You can think in your head, oh, what are we going to accomplish? And that's what we heard all along. All you guys are there arguing and chanting and walking up and down the streets. What are you going to accomplish? Well, a lot. Well, a lot. Later on today, we're going to make our demands and we're going to ask for receipts because, you know, like Councilman Ellington just said, there's a lot of people out here who will give you some good talk, go home, and then you'll forget. I don't want that to happen here today. I want you to demand receipts from everybody who comes up here and speaks. Receipts means they do what they told you they're going to do. If we come out here and get shot by rubber bullets, tear gassed, and all kinds of police force used against us, and we accomplish nothing, I'll consider this a failure. We've got to remember what we're doing here today and carry it on into your everyday lives. Don't say you're with me if you go back home and you don't take this to the water cooler at your office, if you don't take this to the voting booth, if you don't take this to your friends. Don't be on Facebook agreeing with your friends about some silly stuff if you don't flame them and say Black Lives Matter. That's not something you can just say here today. That's something you say in your church. That is something you say when you're talking to your friends, even the ones that don't get it. It's your responsibility, yours. It's your responsibility to take this back from here into our society, because that's the only way we are going to get better as a society and finally tell them that Black Lives Matter. So what I'm doing here, and I want everyone to do this with me. Do this with me. I want you to draw a line. Draw a line in the sand. And either you're with me and us, or you're with the other side. There's no gray area. There's no gray area. Black lives matter, or they don't matter to you. You draw in a line of sand, you make it clear, you speak it loud, and you do not take no for an answer.
Hi, everybody. My name is Lacey Knight. Okay. My mother was a white woman who spent most of her adulthood in the streets, in the back of police cars, and in prison. One night, roughly 27 years ago, she was put in the back of a police car and she was taken to jail. The jailer at that jail was a white Marine veteran jailer, cop. This man would be my father. In my parents' love affair, my dad would find himself continuously rescuing my mother from drugs. And after one weekend of a drug binge, my mother told my father that she was pregnant. And she explained to him that the baby would either be his or the baby would be black. And here I am, I'm black. He told my mother that it didn't matter that I was black, and I was his daughter anyways. My family, my friends, my people that I grew up with in my community, they were all white, okay? My grandma, she managed a Dairy Queen. My parents used to take me there when I was little, and they would sit me on the counter, and my grandma would serve me one of those awesome chocolate dip cones, and the people would stare. My grandma never understood why people were staring at us until my mother had to explain to her that it was because I was black. I never understood why, when I was growing up, that I didn't look like the other girls. My skin, my hair, my bone structure, everything about me made me different. They would throw spitballs in my hair, and I wouldn't find them until I went home because I have so much hair that I just couldn't feel it. They told me that I wasn't pretty because I was overweight, because I was different than them, until they decided that I was exotic. And then everybody wanted to see me, everybody wanted to talk to me. Isn't that strange? One day when I was a child, I was walking up to a farmer's market with my grandmother and my aunt, and a car full of black men drove past me, and they threw a slushie out the window, and as the colors ran down my feet, they called me a nigger. And I only have to assume that that's because I was walking with white people. But by far the worst time that I ever experienced racism is when my daughter's father's girlfriend at the time hit me with her car on Christmas Eve and called me a fucking nigger. It took me 2 years to get my biracial daughter away from this woman. I went to the protest on Saturday, and within 5 minutes of being there, I had mace and milk all over me. I tried my best to protect all of my people. As you ran away from the police, I ran to you. The scariest thing I've ever seen was a tiny little black girl standing there next to her brother that I was helping, that was screaming from the tear gas in his lungs. She was screaming for her mother that she had lost. She was scared. This girl could have easily been my daughter. And I wondered to myself, what are we gonna do for all of these children so that they don't have to grow up in the world that we have grown up in? What are we gonna do? We need to find a way to unite the people while also honoring the people in our police force, the great men and women who are here serving us. We keep hearing that they're good cops and they're bad cops, but we can't have any bad cops. I just want to ask you guys a question, Kansas City. Are you ready to start the revolution and unite Kansas City as one? I want all of you, every single one of you, to be the change. This is the scariest thing I've ever done, being up here. A week ago, I was at home with my 2 kids, being a stay-at-home mom for the last 5 years, crying myself to sleep at night, wondering, what can I do? What can I do for my children, for all of your children? And I want all of you guys to know that each and every single one of you can make a difference. If you vote, go and register, vote, be the change. Thank you guys for having me today.
That was Lacey Knight, and just for your information, Mayor Quinton Lucas is here. He's on the steps. Whether or not he's going to speak remains to be seen, but he's here right now.
Next speaker, Representative Greg Razor. Come on, give it up.
Thank you, Justice.
Razor is a state representative from South Kansas City.
Man, this is a fantastic crowd, and it makes me proud to see everyone here. My name is Representative Greg Razor. I am one of only 4 openly LGBTQ members of our state's General Assembly. And this month, the month of June, is Pride Month. Every June, for 50 consecutive years, my community has celebrated Pride because this is the anniversary of an uprising in New York City against police violence towards my community. That's why we celebrate Pride. But this year, Pride takes on a little different meaning. This year, Pride takes on a little different feeling for me and for so many of us. I'm proud as I stand here that I know I have fellow LGBTQ members in this crowd right now. Let me hear you. I'm proud this year because when I look out in this crowd, I see a lot of Latino faces in this crowd. I see Asian lives. I see Native American lives. I see all of the diversity of lives. I see white lives, and we're all here because Black Lives Matter. That is what we're proud of this year. All of our communities have to stand up and say Black Lives Matter. I have studied history for a large part of my life, and there are moments in history when society changes. In the 1960s, we saw society change when images hit television screens from Birmingham of police officers sicking dogs on black men, when we saw fire departments with fire hoses knocking back crowds. America saw it and realized what was happening for the first time. America is waking up again because of the images we saw of George Floyd, the images we see each and every day on the news, on Twitter, on social media from all over the country of rallies just like this that are peaceful. And then we see violence against the peaceful protesters. America is waking up, and it's because we all realize that Black Lives Matter. But let me tell you something. There's something else I need all of you to do. Other people have pointed it out. I'm going to point it out again. Directly in front of me, in front of the county courthouse, you can register to vote. Every single person here should be registered to vote. If you don't register to vote today, you can go to any public library and register to vote. If you live in Kansas City, Missouri, you can go to the basement of Union Station and register to vote. And everyone here has a cell phone. I want you to pull it out, pull up your calendars app, and put August 4th on your calendar, because we're all going to go vote on August the 4th. And let me tell you, there's a lot of reasons to vote on August 4th, but one of those is Black Lives Matter on the streets, and Black lives also matter when it comes to having access to quality, affordable health care, and that is on the ballot on August 4th. We will expand Medicaid, but only if you're registered and you show up on August 4th. Then go back to your calendar and put November 3rd. November 3rd is the day that we put Donald Trump out of the White House. It's the day we reclaim our country for the best values that we hold. Yesterday in a meeting, I sat in a meeting with Governor Parson and heard him say that he didn't know that coronavirus would affect the black community the way it did, and he didn't know why. He said he wanted a study to see why this was being done. It's time we have a governor who already knew that it was going to affect black lives more, and we need to elect Nicole Galloway to do that. We have so much on the ballot. This is a moment where we can change America. You're here proving it. The diversity of faces in this crowd and lives in this crowd prove it. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for having me. God bless.
All right, I'm now going to introduce Councilperson Melissa Robinson.
Hey, y'all. This black chick from the east side, I had to bring some notes because I didn't want to miss a word. I got to make sure all my words are right and in order. I came to stop by to talk about connecting the dots. This movement about the violence projected on black people and the perception, y'all know perception is reality, right? This is about the perception of descendants of slaves in America. And as a black child, we all learned the words of an old Negro spiritual. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome someday. We'll walk hand in hand. We are not afraid, but we shall overcome one day. But guess what, y'all? We tired. We tired. We are tired. Liberation continues to escape us. We are afraid, our heart is broken, and our beliefs of overcoming diminishes every day, every moment that we protect unjust policies and systemic racism that is literally killing us. Our faith is uprooted. As we have faith in an equitable and a liberating future. But then, just as we began and our hope was being evaporated, and we began to retreat into our silos and our corners of complacency, but then a sequence of horrific events occurred, and it is igniting our anger in a way that is productive and that is activating our sense of responsibility, our sense of duty to make America whole. Our commitment is to not give up, to not give in, but you all showed up on a Friday morning and a Friday afternoon at City Hall. Give yourselves a round of applause. You are demanding change. You are being the change. And I encourage you to never give up your protest. People will try to deter you. We will try to pacify you with trinkets and superficial gestures, but never abandon your protest. We as policymakers in these decision seats, we will try to lull you back into complacency. We will give you a tweak here and there, but never give up your protest. But where do we go from here? How do you imagine your protest after body cameras are installed and a citizens review board is enacted? What does your protest look like after this demonstration season ends? What does it look like over the next 18 months, the next 5 years? What does your protest look like over the next 15 years? What is our broader plan to heal our community and to make our way towards peace? No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. No justice? No peace. Will you be protesting in the corporate corners, at negotiation tables? Where will your protest be? In the hallways of the classroom or in the chambers of the legislative house? How will you sustain your protest? Are you thinking of a master plan? As an elected official that represents this city's most economically deficient community, the city's district that encompasses the segregated black wards, I would not be fulfilling my commitment to the 3rd District residents if I was not thinking of a master plan. This is a master plan that connects the dots, and it dismantles racist and oppressive structures. Connect the dots, y'all. It's not a coincidence that the majority of the police complaints are from patrol stations in the 3rd District. The 3rd District, where there is a density of Black people. This is a broader issue, more than about a camera or police oversight. This is about the persistence of systemic needs on the necks of Black lives. There is no coincidence that descendants of slaves, Black people, Black children in the 3rd District are underperforming their white counterparts academically. We can't breathe. I urge you to connect the dots this afternoon. It's not a coincidence that Black residents in the 3rd District have the highest unemployment rate in the city, have an over-dependency on public transit, that we fear every day we can't even walk to the park because of violence. The 3rd District, where there is a density of Black people who are evicted from their homes, not 1 time, not 2 times, not 3 times, not 5 times, but over and over and over again. Y'all, we need to ensure that this movement is about a universal disdain and fear of descendants of slaves. What is our master plan in Kansas City for Black lives now that we have the world's attention? I support your demands and moving the Police Commission Board to action. But I would be doing you a disservice if I did not lift up the importance of persistent pressure and protest that elevates a comprehensive agenda to protect Black lives. I have introduced a righteous policy agenda package, and let me tell y'all about what they are. 1, progressive action to address local control. 2, funding an Office of Reconciliation and Equity and Justice to review, analyze, and bring to light inequity policy decisions before they are enacted by this city council. Black Lives Matter. Connect the dots. Number 3, restore funding for public transit so that those of us with the least amount of resources have access to free transit, just as those of us with the most resources have access to the expanding streetcar. Black Lives Matter. Number 4, invest $7 million of redevelopment of the city to redevelop the city's dilapidated properties in 18th and Vine. And Vine is the epicenter for Black entrepreneurship and Black culture in Kansas City. The city made a promise to invest $27 million. They've invested $7 million, and now they want to renege. Not today. Number 5, ensure that the city's investment in economically distressed areas will protect residents from gentrification by prohibiting landlords to use our money to change rents over the area median income. Black Lives Matter. Not on our dime. Number 6, prohibit the city's decisions to take away the property taxes from the school districts and give our children's money to developers who refuse to develop East of Truth. Black Lives Matter. Connect the dots. And finally, number 7, this week I introduced a measure to invest in an equitable manner $4 million to fight coronavirus in the areas that has been impacted most. We have work to do, y'all. We have to improve policing. We have to ensure that we're building an intersectional master plan to preserve and protect the value of Black lives. Yes, we shall overcome, and we are not afraid. And today, as I look at all your beautiful faces, and thank you for wearing masks, we're still in a pandemic. As I look at all your beautiful faces, I'm filled with hope. My heart is restored, and I am fueled by your energy. And finally, I'm reminded of Barbara Jordan's words. Barbara Jordan said that what the people want is very simple. What they want, what we want, is an America that is as good as its promise. God bless you.
This is Michael Mahoney. That was City Council member Melissa Robinson. The mayor, as I indicated, is here, and the organizers are telling me he will plan to speak to this crowd, and he will also plan to sign their list of demands that include local control and more supervision and tighter review of the Kansas City Police Department.
Hello, everyone.
And he may do that during this ceremony.
My name is
Let's go back to the proceedings.
and I'm a local equal rights activist, future teacher, and a student at UMKC. Thank you. My close friend and colleague, Justice Horn, has graciously invited me to address you all today. I'm going to keep it brief. This movement isn't for me. It's for all of the people of color in this city who have been beaten down, harassed, discriminated against, and murdered in our streets. I'm here to speak to you allies in the crowd. In light of the murder of George Floyd, I've had to face the harsh reality that some of my close friends, colleagues, and even my family aren't fully committed to this movement. It's people like you who give me the strength to say to these privileged people, your discomfort is irrelevant. It is our job as white allies to make our white family and friends uncomfortable with the reality that people of color face every single day in this country. The days that we as white allies have let microaggressions and snide comments go are gone. To every non-person of color listening, if all you are doing is posting on social media, you are not doing enough. I'm tired of the inaction. I'm tired of white people reinforcing the ignorance of their peers. I'm tired of worrying about justice going on a jog in the middle of the day in a city full of people. And if I'm tired, people of color are exhausted. The time has come for us to rise up against police brutality in Kansas City. The time has come to give the loudspeakers to people of color so the world will finally hear their cries for justice, their cries for peace, their cries to live without fear, a privilege that I and all of us white allies take for granted every single day. The time has come to say to your friends, your family, your mayor, your governor, and your country that enough is enough. Thank you all for your time today. I'm going to give the mic back over to our people of color. Thank you.
I do. Ooh, let's get that. That's important. All right, thank you. All right, everyone. I really do want you guys to give this next group a warm welcome. The family of Ryan Stokes, everyone.
Ryan Stokes was shot and killed, as you may have heard some of the speakers say, in 2013 in a dispute down on the Power and Light District. He was not armed, and he was shot by the police.
My son
Korselev
was Ryan Stokes. My name is Nareen Stokes. I am Ryan Stokes' mother. Ryan was my only son. I miss him every day. I fight for him every day. I want Mayor Lucas to know my son was murdered by Officer Bill Thompson, 2 blocks from where we stand today. He was shot in the back. He was an innocent man. He was unarmed. We mourned his loss every day. The morning Ryan was murdered, I came down here to find him. And the police sent me away to sit at the bus stop. They would not tell me about my son. 14 hours were still waiting. We prayed he would call us. We prayed he was okay. Then the police called me to talk to me about the welfare of my son. They wanted me to come and meet them. I told them they could come to my home. By the time they arrived, my home was filled with family, and Ryan's very large group of friends stood in the streets around our house praying with us. The police treated us like criminals. They arrived in SWAT gear. They blocked off the streets. The detective whose job it was to lie to me about the circumstances of my son's death was escorted to my gate by patrol officers. The detective told me Ryan's death was Ryan's fault. He told me the officer forced to shoot my son. He said Ryan pointed a gun at the officer and he shot my son 5 times in the chest. I knew he was lying to me. Ryan was shot in the back. I saw the wounds myself. It was not enough to rob me of my son. The police had decided to take my son's good name too. They prosecuted him in the news. For 3 years after Ryan was murdered, I tried to talk to the chief and to the mayor. I wanted justice. I wanted the truth. But no one would talk to me. The mayor and the police chief taught me that the only way to be heard was to go to court. Mayor Lucas, I pray you will do an independent review of my son's murder. Mayor Lucas, I pray you will do the better for the families like mine. Mayor Lucas, I pray you will talk to mothers whose sons are killed by the police. I pray you will not let the police drag the good name of their victims through the mud. I pray you will not stand by when police officers are given medals for killing our sons. Mayor Lucas and the governor in Kansas City, Missouri, we got to fight. We got to stand up. They are killing our kids right here in Kansas City. Not in Minneapolis, not in Chicago. It's right here. We got to fight. Stand up. Pray for me. Thank you so much.
Are you next? Appreciate you, sister.
I now want to introduce Pastor Devin Taylor to give the next speech.
First, they asked me to pray, but they thought I was going to pray in tongues, so they told me not to pray. When I say, when the camera's on duty, I want you to say the cop's on duty. When the camera's on duty, when the cop is on duty, we need to make sure that they're not taking the cameras and turning them off. That's one of the policies we're going to fight for. So when the cop's on duty, I can't hear y'all. When the cop's on duty, the cop's on duty, the camera's on duty. We need to make sure we understand that. When I say black lives, you shout must survive. Black lives! I can't hear you. Black lives! I said black lives! On July 28th, my mother's birthday, 2013, Ryan Stokes was gunned down by the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. And to this day, nothing has taken place to get justice for that. But in the justice that we're going to try to get, or we're going to get for George Floyd, we're going to inculcate that in and get other things done. Can we put our hands together for that? When the cops don't do that, when the cameras don't do that, we gotta make sure we understand that. Because the game that will be played is when they're ready to do something dirty, the camera will go off. And when everything is looking good, it'll go back on. Here's something that has angered you, and I know you've been waiting on me to say it. Don't tell us to not believe our lying eyes. If my eyes see it, it is what it is. So when I say, what did you see? You say murder on George Floyd. What did you see? What did you see? You seen a murder. You must not tell your eyes it lied to you. Now I'm gonna say something that's a little controversial, but it's not that bad compared to what I've heard. I know quite a few officers on the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Some I played sports with athletically growing up. And you have let us down, brothers. Because if we stopped it in the locker room, it would never reach the street. I said if we stopped it, I'm gonna say it again. If the black police officers would check their brothers in the locker room, we would not have to worry about it in the courtroom. We would not have to worry about it on the streets because they handled it in the locker room. I guarantee you that 4 white officers or white officers would not have watched 4 black cops choke a man to death and not do nothing about it. So brothers, I am holding you accountable. When we speak to the police chief, I know they had their meeting, but see, they try to make the meetings up to down. But this time we want to come from down here up to them, and I'm done right here. Last thing I'm gonna say. Somebody came to me and said, Pastor, how do we really change it? And I'm gonna tell you how we change it. Start your own business. I don't have the money. Connect to somebody that does. I'm gonna say it again. Start your own business. Taylor, how do we change it? Start your own business. And if you can't, connect to somebody that has one and learn from them. And possibly you can raise up. If the cameras don't do that, and if the cop is on duty,
Hey, how y'all doing? I first want to say, like, somebody told me, because a lot of y'all might not know me, but I be on 35th and Prospect. A person told me, he was like, black people try everything but coming together. You hear me? My city has done everything but come together. You know, I feel like it shouldn't take another state for my city to be standing up for the same thing we got going on down here. You know, a lot of y'all don't know me. My name is Troy Robertson. I've been beat by the police 5 times. August 21st, 2015, I was tased by Barbosa Nabidovich for recording somebody get arrested for them doing something illegally. August 21st, after I got tased, something in my dream told me to hold a sign, and I started doing this. I started holding a sign, Hunk, helping others notice kings. September 23rd, 2015, police jumped on me on 35th and Truce. So I'm telling y'all, I've been standing up for this since 2015. August 21st, 2019. A lot of y'all seen it on the news, on 35th and Prospect. Over 38 officers came over there and jumped on me because I asked him to hunk because one of my friends died. I only asked to hunk. So I'm saying, like, I've been making complaints, filing complaints after complaints after complaints. August 21st, 2019, September 6th, 2019, I got jumped on by the police again. They said I misused 911. I thought you supposed to call 911 when somebody passed out. I went to jail for misuse of 911. September 9th, the day we buried my big bro. they put me in a hospital for suicide. I had a seizure. I'm an epileptic. So I had a seizure. They end up saying the reason why they put me in a suicide pod is because I was trying to drown myself in my own spit and banging my head on the ground. If you Google the symptom of a seizure, it's gonna tell you them same things. So I've been fighting for this same thing because I'm tired. You hear me? I'm only 26. I've been standing up since I was 21. You can come to 35th and Prospect. We there every night bringing peace to my block, feeding the community. So why am I getting beat by the police that's supposed to protect us from these bad guys? Only thing I ask is, I feel like we gotta stand up for this. And Mayor Lucas, we came up with an anti-violence prevention program that's gonna stop violence in my city. I sent you messages and messages and messages because I came up with HUNK. HUNK means helping others notice kings. You can take that K out there and put a Q so we can help others notice queens. Or you can take it for the kids. I built an empire. That man said build a business. I built a business by myself, standing and sleeping on the streets because I was homeless out there. You hear me? So I'm telling my city to stand up for what we believe in. And if I want to police the police. Can we come up with like undercover people to be out there and we do what we do out there, you know, promote peace. And if police come and try to interfere with a peaceful gathering, them ain't officers that protect and serve.
All right, now I'm now going to introduce our next speaker. It's Kyle Hollins. He's going to give it away.
Hey, yo, if you sick and tired of being sick and tired, say I'm sick and tired. I said if you sick and tired of being sick and tired, say I'm sick and tired. I'm sick and tired of having to watch TV every single night about Black Lives Matter when we've always mattered. I'm sick and tired of somebody opposing my protest, protesting my protest when I say that Black Lives Matter and they repeat to me, all lives matter. I'm sick and tired. If all lives matter, quick question, why are we here? Why are we formed as a city? This is Kansas City. We're showing the world that we're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You have to realize, listen, racism is only a thought process. So if racism is only a thought process, then we can change that thought process. But it takes a lot of hard work. It takes a whole lot of dedication. And it takes each and every person here to stand up and say something when they see an injustice. I need you to live a life of protest. Your life is going to be the protest. When you go to work, you need to talk about the things that you've seen out there. When you go to work, I need you to talk about the footsteps that you took when you were out there on the plaza. I need the first responders that helped innocent victims that were maced, that were fired, that were percussion bombed, that were pouring milk on people's face. You have a story, and your story is your protest. Only until you take your protest past these lines. Listen, if today is the only day you protest, you have failed. If this weekend is the only day that you have protest, you have failed. I laid on the corner of 27th and Mungal, hands behind my back, beaten, kicked. Listen, I got scars on my face right now from being kicked in the face. They told me to stop resisting. I had my hands behind my back. I almost did 35 years in the federal penitentiary. I served 90 months for a low-level drug offense. The judicial system is infected with a virus called racism. Our housing market is infected with a virus called racism. Our police are infected with a virus called racism. And as long as that virus continues to spread, it's like COVID-19. But this virus ain't scared. It ain't telling you to wear a mask. It'll just stand on somebody's neck for 9 minutes on live TV for the world to see and have no remorse. If you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, don't let today be your last day. Don't let today be your only moment. No, we're not all politicians. We're not all 501c3 owners. No. But But we all have a story. God has gifted each person with a story tonight. Your camera has now been your weapon. Your voice, your hashtag is now your weapon. Your friendships, listen, and I'm going to be done. White mothers, white fathers, what are you going to tell your kids? What's the narrative? How are you going to teach your kids and raise your kids moving forward? We all know that rhetoric goes on. We're not going to hide from it. But what we have to do is have a sake of empathy, because guess what? These mothers, that mother that lost her child, she didn't ask for her child to be the front of a protest. She didn't ask for that. Mike Brown's mother, she didn't ask to be the advocate of a nationwide movement. She didn't ask for that. So you have to train your children. You have to prepare the next generation, because guess what? They're the policy holders of the future. They're the police officers of the future. The police system isn't bad, but it's infected with racism. Our political system isn't wrong, but it's infected with racism. But if you train them when they're young, and they take those positions, their cognitions, the way that they think, the way that they breathe, the way that they move, will go into those positions, and they will make the policies and changes that we need as a people. Today we stand, because we demand change. What do we demand? What do we demand? What do we want? What are we not leaving here until we get?
Justice Horn. What a force. What an amazing job he's been doing, and an inspiration, and just thankful for this. And thank you all for showing up. Give yourselves a hand for showing up here today to demand more, to demand that we enact the change that so desperately we need. I struggled with with what I wanted to say today, and it's a difficult thing to talk about, and especially when I think back of my history textbooks, at least the ones that I saw when I was a kid, they were whitewashed, and we were led to believe that because the North won the Civil War and slavery was in our distant past, that we've been atoned. And that ain't right. Thank you. We didn't learn about the direct through line from the Civil War, from the antebellum South, through the racist housing policies of the North that continue to further disadvantage our communities of color and our Black lives. And one of the first memories I have of an uprising in regards and the result of a brutal beating of Rodney King. I didn't understand that protest was not just about the beating, but the fact that those officers who brutally beat him were absolved of all wrongdoing. And I watch all the protests going on across the nation, and I'm optimistic that this is really a different time. But I'm not the one to say that. It's not about me. And I look over the crowd, and I'm impressed with the turnout, and I need to talk to my fellow white folks out there. This isn't enough. Are you tired? Well, drink some coffee and perk up, people. We have a job to do as white allies in this movement. And I'm going to ask the same question the previous speaker asked, which is, white parents, what are you telling your kids about this? I am reckoning with that right now with a 6-year-old trying to explain to him what systematic racism is. White folks, get with it. Let's do this. Be more than allies. Black lives matter. Absolutely. But it's not an ideology or a political agenda. And for, again, my white folks out there, It's not a hashtag for you to put out on social media to absolve yourself of the role you play in a racist, oppressive system. So it doesn't end here. Your role does not end here. Our black brothers and black sisters have been crying for our help for generations. It's time to get to work for real. You know, I've watched protests on the TV and in person, and I've seen videos of unnecessary escalation on the part of law enforcement. I've seen men and women get brutalized with rubber bullets and tear gas. That ain't right. We have to demand change, and it starts right here. And I'll be honest with you that simple reform to law enforcement isn't enough. We spend as a city 10 times the amount on law enforcement as we do on public health. And we all know that we are in the middle of a global pandemic. A global pandemic that is harming our black brothers and sisters at a rate so disproportionate that it's inhuman. And we've called you out here in this crowd in the middle of a pandemic, and thank you for doing it, and thank you for putting your health at risk. It has to happen. We spend 10 times the amount on law enforcement as we do on public health. Let that sink in. And that's the same at the state and national level as well. Public health is a way to police our cities and without the heavy hand of brutal law enforcement that we've seen in so many of our videos. Public health is a way of the future of enforcement and making our communities safe and whole. Public safety, not policing, not law enforcement. We're not going to get there overnight, but we need to start taking a different approach. We need to look at trauma-informed care, because the folks who've been living in the east side of the city have experienced trauma that white folks, you and me, we haven't experienced. And white folks, we need to get real about that. That trauma that they've experienced results in the crime that we see. We have to do better. We have to take a public health approach to public safety. We have to give access to health care. We gotta get Medicaid expansion passed here in a few months. But that's not enough. That's not enough. The protests that we've seen across the country have not only resulted in public cries from the community, from the organizers, from your voices, but tangible results are coming of it. People are talking about the complete systems change that is required for law enforcement to do right by our communities and make us safer and not fear them. You look at what's happening in Minneapolis. My counterparts in Minneapolis are calling for a complete undoing of how we do law enforcement and public safety. It's not going to happen overnight. We've taken some important steps. I think you probably heard the mayor thankfully talk yesterday about last couple of days talking about body cameras. We got to have body cameras on every single officer, right? We got to make sure that they stay on. And we got to make sure you have access to that footage, because we can't rely on innocent bystanders to take video on their cell phones. Sometimes those innocent bystanders are charged with crimes themselves. You've got to hold them accountable, but we have to have them held accountable as well. They have to hold themselves accountable, but that's not enough. We also need local control of our police department. We've got to get the control of our police department back in City Hall and out of the governor's mansion. We've seen the leadership that comes from the governor in response to COVID-19. We've seen that. And if that's what we have to look forward to, then we need to bring that back here so that the people of Kansas City, have the ability to make these changes. And in the long run, all that stuff that law enforcement reform isn't enough, we have to rethink how public safety works. The very people who are entrusted to protect your freedom of speech, a right guaranteed to you by the Constitution of the United States, are sometimes the ones you're most angry about. And if they're the ones in charge of protecting your freedom of speech, we have to rethink how this thing works. And I was talking to my wife the other day about, I was saying, you know, with systematic racism and especially in law enforcement, that it's broken. And she said, no, it's not broken. It never worked. If it's never worked for our communities, then it can't be broken. So I'm standing up here today as a city council member, as an elected official, to represent you right here in this building. We meet every Thursday to pass laws. We passed a few good ones yesterday. I'm here standing not only in solidarity, but with a promise to change. Promise to bring change to this city as an ally. And if I get tired, give me some coffee and let's get back to work. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm going to introduce our next speaker, Representative Barbara Ann Washington.
Thank you. Can we take a moment of silence for the birthday of Breonna Taylor, please? Everybody bow their heads. Thank you. So I want to first thank all the young people. Give yourselves a round of applause. I want to thank all the white people. I want to thank all the Latino people, all the Indian people, all the Asian people. Because if you know our history as black people, young people have always led the charge. So keep doing that. If you know our history as black people, Martin Luther King was a young man when he started. Malcolm X was a young man when he started. SNCC was a young organization when he started. So we need that. So thank you to Justice Horn and the Black Lives Matter and Gabrielle today for inviting me. So while you all are fighting here, there's another group that's fighting behind the scenes that is working on policies, and we need young people. And that's the Police Accountability Task Force led by the Urban League, Moore Squared, and NAACP, and we need you. So I want to start by saying one of my favorite poets, and unfortunately he was born in Kansas, but we love him anyway. Langston Hughes once said about black people, sweet and docile, meek, humble, and kind. Beware the day we change our mind. Today is that day. We have changed our mind, Kansas City. We have changed our mind about excessive force. We have changed our mind about internal investigations. The cops should not investigate themselves. We have changed our minds about local control. We are Kansas City, and we should have a say in our police department. We have changed our minds about training. It takes 9 months to make a baby, but we gotta work a long time to make them grown, right? Are y'all with me on that? So we need more than 9 months to train an officer. They have proven that 9 months does not work. We need better training on diversity. We need better protection for our officers, like the officer that spoke up for Ryan Stokes. He should not have lost his job. I stand before you today, a 52-year-old black woman with a law degree, my own business, and a state representative. Yet I, too, and I cringe and I get scared every time I see those lights. I should not be scared. Say, I should not be scared. I should not be scared. I'm not a black man, but I have black brothers, black nephews, black friends, black colleagues. And now, in the last 2 years, I got me 2 black grandsons. I I don't want my 2 black grandsons who just moved to Kansas City to be afraid to live. They should not be afraid to walk the streets, to play in the park, to go to school, to get arrested for a traffic ticket. They should not be afraid. We have changed our minds because my grandsons need a future. We have changed our minds about our black men clogging up our prisons. We have changed our minds about high black unemployment. We have changed our minds about poor housing. We want change and we want it now. Say, we want change and we want it now. We want change and we want it now. With this movement, the unification of all of us, because some of you young people, you don't get taught in history anymore. White folks have always been involved with black folks in getting us freedom. Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman couldn't do it on their own. Martin Luther King couldn't do it on our own. We need this because you have the power to make a change. And we want change, and we what? We have to come together and continue the systematic changes that are needed in the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. Through your efforts in the last couple of weeks, we got the community to donate the money for the body cams. And many of you don't know that Congress has attempted to give body cams to the police department before. We need to find out why they haven't been taken and why they haven't been used. We don't want no more tear gas. We want no more neck holds and knee holds. No more choke holds. Warn us before you shoot us. Give us some time. Don't shoot. Hands up. Don't shoot into moving vehicles. Better officer intervention. If I, as an officer, see something wrong, I should not fear my job to speak up. Everybody say, see something, say something. See something, say something. And we need to be transparent in the investigations that go on. We have an elected prosecutor. Whether we like her or not, it is her job to prosecute, and she cannot do that without the police giving her the information. Our Black Lives Matter. Our safety matters. Our mental health matters. Our housing matters. If any of you are arrested, please contact my office. I will represent any protester for free, as well as many people in Kansas City. We want body cams, and we want them to be used. We want de-escalation tactics. We have changed our minds about waiting for the police to give us answers. We have changed our minds about the lackadaisical attitude when an officer kills us. We should never, ever see the death of a Cameron Lamb, a Terrence Bridges, a Donnie Sanders, and it should never take 7 years to prosecute the killers of Ryan Stokes. We have changed our minds about staying silent. We want equality. We as black people have changed our minds about allowing you to treat us inhumane. We are humans. In 2020, black folks should not still be afraid of the police. We should not suffer mental stress just because of the police. I'm going to close out with James Baldwin, who says, and black people understand this, you all should understand this, and the cops need to understand this. To be a Negro in this country and to be relatively conscious means to be enraged almost all of the time. Thank you for coming together. We need to stop the rage and get equality. Black Lives Matter.
All right, everyone. I know the sun's coming out a bit. Make sure you guys are staying hydrated and that you're drinking water. I don't want anyone passing out here. You guys all need to stay safe. I do want to make a comment and thank the council people that came out today and stood with us. So Councilman Eric Bunch, Councilwoman Melissa Robinson, and especially Councilman Brandon Ellington for speaking today and standing in solidarity. So you guys can give them a round of applause. I do want to introduce one of our two last speakers, the County Prosecutor Peters Jeans Baker, to speak on the protesters of this weekend.
All right, protesters have an absolute constitutional right to be here, to be on the plaza, and when you step off the curb, you should not be prosecuted because the Constitution protects you. So today is not a day for a white person to give you platitudes. Today is a day for a white person to say what we must do next. So if you would like to see more prosecutions and more police officers held accountable, then I ask you to look at the laws that you have provided for prosecutors that they are a must follow. Then look at union contracts that provide additional protections to law enforcement. You should know what they are. And then one more thing. It really, really matters when you take video. It is called evidence. I met a witness today. You serve as jurors. That building is an opportunity for you to have your voice heard too. So serve as a juror. Do not be afraid to sit through one of those trials. You have a right to have your voice heard there in that forum. One other thing I want you to know, I want you to look at and think about. The last time we went a month in this city without a homicide was February of 2014. The clearance rate for homicides in 2014 was well above the national average. You should ask yourself, what happened? Why are we facing the highest homicide rate in Kansas City history right when you stand here today? It's unacceptable, and we must do better. All right, accountability comes with additional evidence, with laws that don't stand in the way of justice, and union contracts that don't stand in the way of justice. Please, I ask you to look at those. But finally, who should investigate wrongdoing? So, when someone in my office is accused of wrongdoing, and it happens, I don't oversee that investigation, and I also don't prosecute that, because that wouldn't be fair, would it? It wouldn't be fair. So, look at your police department and ask those really hard questions. Who should investigate when officers are engaged in alleged wrongdoing? And a review by someone else is not enough. It's got to be, the investigative team must be a neutral team, and you must believe that. All right, protesters, I support you. You have a right to be here. I have established a website for you to bring me video evidence and other testimonials about what happened the last several days. I am going to review that material, and I'm going to make a public report about what I learned, because we did this very thing. Some of you were here in 2015, and not one single rubber bullet was fired. Not one beanbag. So what happened? How come it went so poorly this time? How come so many protesters were arrested this time? Those are questions that you should answer. And now I think I serve it up to our mayor, who has a really, really tough job. But he is there for us, and I think I'm passing it off, to Justice, who will properly introduce. Thank you.
So I do want to introduce the mayor of Kansas City, Mayor Lucas. He has, I know that over the weekend he's verbally agreed to our demands, and after his speech, he has agreed to sign on to our demands. So I will now give it up to Mayor Lucas of Kansas City.
Thank you. I hear you. So let me start off this way. First of all, let's make clear, Black Lives Matter. Say it again, Black Lives Matter. So, you know, I've been mayor for about 10 months, and you know what's happening today? I have not seen us rally together as a community like this before in all of my years. I haven't seen us try to build this level of change. But let me tell you what we're changing. Look back at that building, right? That building's built in 1936. Who stands in front of it? Andrew Jackson, a terrible president, right? Our county's named after him. You got police headquarters the same time. You got City Hall behind me the same time. The foundation of what we are built on is the problem. But what do we have to do? We need to shake up the foundation. Because I will tell you something, there's a reason that every year we learn another brother's name. Laquan, George, Philando, Rodney. And don't you all wonder why every year you say, how does this not change? I was 7 years old when Rodney King was beaten. And I remember asking my mom, I'm like, how does this happen that they get acquitted? What I didn't know the biggest surprise would be is that 28 years later, we'd be shaking our head to the same thing. The problem isn't just an officer. This isn't about one officer or 4 officers in Minneapolis. This ain't about one officer in Chicago. This ain't about one officer in Kansas City. What is it about? Is the foundation is rotten with what we're dealing with. And we need to shake it up. We need to change it. We need to fight it. We need to know that we're not going to stand for it anymore. And so let me tell you something. I know people asking me, well, Lucas, what you doing? You can say, Lucas, what you doing? That's a good question. So yesterday, we changed policies that hadn't been changed for years. We made it so that any use of force violation needs to be reviewed by an outside agency, not a department itself. We changed it so any, and I mean any, officer-involved shooting needs to be investigated by an outside agency, not just a department. And this is why we have to work with our prosecutor, because let me tell you something. If I walk out on the street today and I shoot you, I don't get to wait 3 weeks for an investigation. I usually don't get to go home, right? We need to make sure that not only do we have accountability, but we have speed with that accountability. So what else do we need to do? Well, when we talk about shaking up the foundation, look at these. These are some strong buildings. They are sturdy, but we need to shake them up too. We need to make sure that y'all are not just with me today, and you're not just pushing us today. You're pushing us next week, next month, next year, the year after, because we're going to make sure we make change. But let me tell you something, and if Sister Barbara didn't say it, then I know all my council members could have too. The revolution, my friends, will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. They want to put you on the news when you're protesting. They don't want to put you on the news when you're teaching a young black child. They don't want to put us on the news when we're trying to change our community. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to keep making the news. We're going to make it so they know that we demand accountability. And you know how we make that accountability? We all just show up. We all just come. We show up to the next police board meeting and say, we're here. We show up to the next city council meeting, and what do we say? We're here. We show up to the governor's office, and we say what? We're here. And that's how we're going to make a difference. So let me just tell you this, and I'm not talking about as a mayor right now. Honestly, I've been a black man my whole life, been a mayor for 10 months. And I will tell you this step. Whenever I see any of these stories, and it's something, I usually don't even want to talk, because that pain that so many of our black speakers have talked about is something that every black person in this audience knows. You know that when you see a brother who is kneeled on and killed based on a forgery charge, you know that when you see a brother who's stopped and trying to get his license but ends up shot and dead, you know that that could be you. You know that that could be your brother, your sister, your auntie, your uncle, your nephew, your niece, your son, and your daughter. And what we are making these changes for today, and I want y'all, and I know we've been talking about protesting. Some of y'all might even have beefs with me. That's all right, because who are we fighting for right now? I'm thinking about the brother right now at 40th and Benton. I'm thinking about the brother right now at 82nd and Truce. I'm thinking of the brother right now who stays off Blue Ridge. That's who we fighting for. We fight so they can live. We fight so they can breathe. We fight so that they can read. We fight so that they can bird watch. So I see all your signs. We're going to keep our movement going. Tu lucha es mi lucha. What we say with everybody is, we are going to make sure that when we are done, these foundations have been shaken. We have changed the way it looks. Living in Kansas City doesn't mean we just go along to get along. Living in Kansas City doesn't mean we're accepting the same stuff anymore. Living in Kansas City means that we can demand justice, and living in Kansas City means that we have the power to make change. And I need all of y'all to know you got the power. Say, I got the power. Say, I got the power. Because we all do. So I need you, and I'm going to look back at y'all. I know you ain't going to be behind me when I walk up these steps in a few days, but I want to feel that you're going to be there. The next time I'm meeting with the governor, I want to be able to say, look, Governor, you may be elected from a different place in Missouri. You may think all these things. You may like Trump. I don't care, because I got my people with me. So what I've been hearing all week is that y'all are ready. Now, y'all not just ready. You demand change. Is that right? You demand change. So if we demand change, and I'm going to just do this, this will be the last thing I say. If we demand change, if you're worried about my brother and sister, if you're worried about the next person who's running into trouble being safe, if you're worried about fairness and equality, if you want to shake the foundations of the Jackson County Courthouse, of Kansas City City Hall, of the police headquarters, not just in Kansas City, but everywhere around here, if you want to make change, I want to hear it. Make more noise than you have ever thought of. Make sure everybody hears it. Let's roll.
All right. All right. We're now going to sign on to the demands that we started off. Although this is an inch, we still have a mile to walk. But this is why we protest. We're the only city that's protest that has actually gotten policy change and came together to demand that our community will change. This is a movement of the people. Now, Mayor, I'll let you do the honors.
We got a good mayor. And this is just the first step, y'all. This is just the first step. We got more change to come. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Keep fighting. Keep making noise. Keep making noise. That's how we make a difference. Keep making noise.
Mayor Lucas is now leaving the podium. And Henry Price, Service rather, now they've got a receipt.
And be with us as the people. So I'm going to read, I'll keep it quick, what he signed on to. The demands of the Black Lives Matter Kansas City. We demand local control of the Kansas City, Missouri Police Department. We demand the proposed funding for body cameras. We demand a restrictive policy governing the use of force, including a multi-step de-escalation procedure. We demand that the KCPD demilitarize. We demand that KCPD engage with community representatives and that they continue to serve the people of Kansas City. But people, we are not done. We've won the day, but the battle has just begun.
We're going to keep pushing, people. We're going to be pushing because this is what we deserve. This is not something that we humbly ask for. These are things that we've demanded and that we've demanded from the beginning and that we're going to get. People are worried. People are worried. They're worried that you guys are going to get tired, that they're going to wear you down. Is that going to happen? How many of you have tired? How many of you are tired? I don't get tired. Just say we just woke up. We've been sleeping a long time, but we just woke up. And I got plenty of energy to go. When we started off and demanded receipts, and we got receipts, that's what happens when you stand together. We're stronger together. Let me hear you say it. We're stronger together. We are stronger together. Like I would love, and so we're going to make some choices right now. We're going to make some choices. I would like a peaceful march over to our friends at the police department. I don't believe that when peaceful citizens assemble, that people should tell you, you can only be in these four corners of your peaceful demonstration. Because whose streets are these? Whose streets are these? Whose streets? Who paid for these streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? And so if we want to walk peacefully over to the police station and have a conversation with the people who we are demonstrating against, we should be able to do that. And you've also heard a universal cry that all of the people who are willing to assemble peacefully shouldn't be arrested, shouldn't be shot out with rubber bullets, should not be maced, shouldn't be tear gas canistered. We should be able to assemble peacefully. That should be able to happen, right?
Our coverage of a Black Lives Matter protest continues. This is at the south steps of City Hall in Kansas City, Missouri, where we have heard from a number of local elected officials, advocates, as well as community leaders over the last 2 hours. And our News Chopper 9's Johnny Rollins has been hovering above this scene the entire time. Now, Johnny, want to go to you, just get your perspective, get your take on what you've seen here today.
Well, it's kind of interesting. I think it would be safe to consider our City Hall kind of majestic looking as far as looking down on the lawn there and then seeing all of the people participating today in this. And to say it was orderly would be kind of an understatement, as they really had a great opportunity to voice their concerns and do it in a really peaceful way. and just have not seen any situations develop. Everyone listening to the speakers intently. And I got to tell you, it's hot up here. I can't imagine how hot it is down there right now as well. A wind shifted a little bit to the south and it's picked up, so hopefully that is helping those. And they did mention several times about staying hydrated for those participating today. As you can see, there is absolutely no police presence as far as any police cruisers or anything like that. In fact, difficult for us to determine who would be a police officer around that, but no perimeter or anything like that. So very orderly, very peaceful, hopefully very productive for what these demonstrators are trying to accomplish. Back down to you.
Johnny, indeed it was, as we just witnessed, the mayor sign some demands by the Black Lives Matter Kansas City. And make sure you stick around, because coming up at 4 o'clock, we're going to have a full recap of everything that happened today at this Black Lives Matter Kansas City protest at City Hall. Have a great afternoon. We'll see you at 4.